Hey guys, what's going on? I'm here today to provide you with an alternative method to the popular Grey Dwarf farm that is going around YouTube currently. This farm involves you putting down campfires to kill Grey Dwarfs as they spawn in at one of their spawners in the Black Forest. Now with a recent update in Valheim, campfires now break a lot easier, especially when dealing damage to other creatures or players. Because of this, the farming method is a lot harder to pull off as you have to quickly and very often repair campfires or put down new ones, so it's not exactly as useful as it used to be. So I'm here to provide you with an alternative method that doubles down as something else entirely that I think you will love and will be insanely beneficial to you. Before I get into it, I just want to ask, if you do find this helpful, please consider subscribing. You don't always have to stay subscribed if you regret it in the future, but it doesn't hurt just to click that button, and you don't understand how much I appreciate it and how much it helps me out. Other than that, let's get straight into this method. Alright, now you're obviously going to kick this off by finding yourself a Grey Dwarf farm in the Black Forest. It does not really matter where it is as long as you found one and it is still up and it's still working. Now the hardest part is getting rid of these guys while you work on it. Now thanks to Firespark, in one of his videos I saw him use a method where he dug down and baited the 3 that spawn into this hole and they get stuck there, so no more spawn because they are stuck there and they won't die, they won't kill you, they won't do anything, they're stuck in that hole. So that's what we're going to try and do right here. You'll see me on screen. I'm going to try, actually I think I'm going to have to kill, you know what, I might have to kill the big one because I think they're harder to get in the hole. But if you can, just bait them and try and dig the hole first. I mean, you can tank the hits if you can, if you have that sort of armor. This is about deep enough. Get out of there and bait those 2 in. I'm not sure if I can get this big guy in there. I might have to kill him, but that is completely fine. So as you can see, only 3 spawn at a time. Because I killed that one, there is a 3rd one that will spawn. He is trying to throw something at me, but I'm going to try and bait him in. Alright, so all 3 are in there. They will stay in there for the entire duration of this build, thankfully, which means this spawner will not operate as long as those 3 remain alive. So now you're just going to get digging. You want to clear this out entirely underneath and make a giant hole. I like to make it a neater square hole. It doesn't need to be neat as long as there is a hole going all the way through. You're going to look at the branches, as you can see on screen right now. There's ones up there that will stick out the sides. You want to make sure that there is no ground underneath those branches. I'm going to fast forward through this and you just replicate exactly what I'm doing. And there we are. That took me a little longer than I would have liked. You do not need to make it as big as mine, but you want to make it a good depth. It doesn't need to be super deep, just a depth that works well and where enemies can't escape. I just made it as deep as possible for the sake of this video. You do not need to do that. Now I'm going to go and grab the things you need for this method. So from your main base or wherever you keep them, you'll want to go and grab your wolves. Now I've brought these wolves over. You can see that they are on the prowl because they can sense the Grey Dwarves. And there you go, they've found them and they're going to go in and kill those 3 Grey Dwarves. I hope, if they can get on the same level of them, they will definitely kill them. Waiting for that last one to die. You can see this, someone's already spawned inside. I'm going to go in here and destroy an opening for them to run in. Hopefully they fall down when they see the Grey Dwarves down there. If not, I'm going to have to give them a little bit of a push. Yep, it doesn't look... Oh, yep, there you go. One's fallen in. Let's give the other 2 a shove. Oh, without falling in myself. If you ever do fall in, you can just run up the sides. It's not a big deal. Let's push that 3rd one in there. There we go. And as you can see, they are going to absolutely destroy these Grey Dwarves. Now, I have only brought over 3. I do not advise only bringing 3. If that's all you got, that's fine. Bring over as many as you can. The more, the better. Depends what level you are in the game as well, because the Grey Dwarf enemies will spawn at different levels, depending on like how strong you are. If you're early on in the game, 3 might do the trick. They definitely kill everything. Some things like brutes might be a little bit of a struggle for you. They do heal over time, and even if you only have 3, you are able to mass produce them. If you do not have any wolves, I have a guide on how to tame them in masses on my channel. I'll put that on screen right now. You can also go and watch that yourself. It's on my channel. Go and look for it. It'll help you out a bunch. Alright, so I'm back with a bunch more of my wolves. They're coming in. This will be a lot more effective now that I have a whole pack of them. Getting them all the better. Don't worry if you don't have too many. I have that guide up there for you. You can go and watch that. Or if you've managed to tame at least 2 yourself, you can breed them inside this hole to again mass produce them. So you just chuck meat in there and they will breed while they're killing the grey dwarves. As you can see, they are following me when there's no dwarves. And even when the grey dwarves spawn in, sometimes they don't notice them because they're too busy trying to get to me. So I do advise clicking on them so that they unfollow you, so they stay, and then they will do their prowling and their own thing in here, and they won't be able to escape. You definitely want to build up around the sides, as you're going to see me doing right now. Build this as high as you want, just build it to a height that will stop other enemies from getting near. And stop things like trolls from wandering into your hole, because if you get something like a troll wandering in, that will ruin your day and ruin a lot of your hard work. So I'm going to go into another time lapse and I'll get back to you when I'm done. So now I've created a super large wall that goes around the perimeter. Nothing is getting in at all except for myself, obviously, but I want to make this look a lot neater, so I'm thinking of making it into a building of some sort. None of this is necessary, but I'm going to make a pathway down inside so you can go and collect the resources down below and maybe add a way to store them as well. Again, there should be timestamps in this video. Skip to any part if something doesn't interest you or won't be of any help. Again, this part is not necessary. You can skip this to the next part if you want to. I'm going to play a time lapse of me building the thing anyway, so you won't have to wait through it. I'll see you in a second. Alright, so I definitely got carried away with this decorating. I wanted to make this into like a livable base kind of, so I've laid out all of these along the roof here, along the top, left a little bit of a frame. I will do this up later and I will show you that definitely. I won't make you endure the entire process though, but I will definitely show you the final results. So I am throwing meat in there to get them mating and reproducing. I will say putting these new wolves in here was a nightmare. I wish I just spawned them in, if I'm completely honest. I tried to get them in through a tiny funnel, but they kept trying to go at the walls and it was a nightmare. It took me like 25 minutes just to get them in here. So I highly recommend you doing something like building a ramp over, or maybe even just getting rid of a huge chunk of a wall and getting them in. Or maybe just getting them in early, like before you put up the walls. I'm not sure. Just don't make the same mistake that I did. Getting them in through that tiny funnel was a nightmare. Also keep in mind they definitely do breed in here, so you definitely should feed them. They will replace the inevitable deaths. I also want to show you how much loot you get from this. You can see just here there is so much wood and stone that you get given. Same with Grey Dwarf eyes and that sort of thing. The ancient bark. It is crazy how much you get from doing absolutely nothing. It is a completely automatic system. Like with the campfires, you might need to replace some of them if they break or refuel them. The wolves, the most you'd ever have to do is feed them, I guess. Just chuck some meat in every now and then, and they could reproduce. If you're lucky, you might not have to do that, or might not have to do it for a while at least, because they won't die. Now you can see they're in that corner over there, trying to get through the wall. That's because there are some grey dwarfs on the other side. I do have a way of preventing that, which I will show you just after we do this right here. But right now I'm going to wait to see if they eat this meat and produce, just to prove to you guys that they can mate and have babies while in this system. So when that happens, I'll be right back. Oh, and you can see right there is a pup. I must have missed the birth, but there you are, there is a baby. So they definitely do eat and they do mate during, I think, the grace period where there are no enemies, kind of like right now after they've killed them and they're howling, waiting for something to spawn. They definitely can mate. Now I'm going to go and do some extra building, make this place a little better, and I will show off some of the new stuff and some of the new systems and why I think you should do them also. Alright, and here we are. I have done a lot of work, as you can see, and I've turned it into a bit of a base. Over here I've got the home area, not needed of course, but I put down a portal so you can get in and out, and this gives me something to work on while the farm kind of does its own thing, so I don't have to sit here and AFK. Obviously you can AFK, that's the whole point of this thing, but I mean, if you can have another base here and you can do all your work here while stuff is happening, why not? Am I right? I've got the smelters and that sort of thing over here as well, with some chests I could put stuff in if needed. Just tried to make everything look really nice. Over here I have something that I would recommend. Here is a little taming pen. So I've got 2 wolves in there, so you can see there are 2 pups in there as well, and there are all the wolves down there doing their thing, and here is an iron gate. So obviously you would feed the wolves here, keep at least 2 up here all times. If the ones down there died somehow, like let's just say every single one of them died, you wouldn't be without wolves. You'd still have at least 2 up here that you could infinitely breed. Just say you had 4 or more than 2 like I do, you could open the gate and you could just push a couple of them out. I'm a bit stuck right now, but you get the gist of it. You could just push him in. Alright, he's kind of stuck, but you get the idea. And then you can close the gate. This step is here because they can't actually jump, so they're kind of stuck in there. You can walk in and out. Got some meat in here. I could grab some. Oh, I already have some. Throw that in there. And I missed, of course. Throw the meat in there and they will breed as long as you're in the area. Make sure you're always in the area. That's why I've set up the workshops and stuff here, so I can do stuff while these guys breed and these guys farm and do all of that. It doesn't actually work if you're not in the area. They kind of don't render or load in, so they're frozen in time. So that's why it's good to stay in the area and do your stuff here. Down here I have these stairs to take me down to the bottom so I can get down there and pick up all the goods. And there are my chests where I store all my stuff. And right here is the farm. And there is the spawner right there. Now lastly, I do want to point out, if I activate the flight, I've surrounded the edge in these here, as you can see, because over here it comes to kind of a high ground where something like a troll could get in, and I've put spikes where they are needed, like along here. And you can see there is loot around here because the grey dwarves from the forest do get attracted to here, and they come to get the wolves, I assume. And this will stop them from getting to the wall, because if they get to the wall, the wolves will get distracted and get stuck in the corners like you saw earlier. So that is a way you can prevent it if you don't want to just extend the thickness of the wall, which could be very, very costly, especially when you're playing in survival. But there you go, guys. If you made it this far in the video, I want to thank you. I also want to thank all my subscribers and especially my YouTube members. It means a lot to me that there are people out there who like me and my content enough to want to financially support it. Of course, that is not needed. All of you who leave comments, likes, and subscribe to me mean the absolute world to me. I appreciate it, and I hope to see you guys in future videos. If you like this type of Valheim content, be sure to subscribe for this in the future. I will be posting very frequently, especially over the next couple weeks. I'm in love with this game and I can't wait to see what it brings in the future. So I hope to see you in one of those future videos. Take care, guys. Be safe out there during these times, and I'll catch you later. Peace.